My next guests on the GIFT Global Innovations Field Trip is Ken Ozturk, and please tell me if I've got your names wrong. Avichal Sood?
Avichal, but it's okay. You can call me Avi.
Okay, Avi it is. Welcome. How are you today?
We are good. We're very happy and grateful for being able to present at this event.
So I have to be honest, when I was going over the list last night before I went to bed, I saw Project Luna, and I'm like, I want to know all about it. So, I can't say it. They are presenting a project on a future base, a checkpoint base on the moon, probably for, I suspect, research and prospecting in the near solar system, based on the moon and their model for what they think we need. So get on it, let me know where we need to be, and also let Elon Musk know what he needs to do to catch up with you.
Definitely. All right, well, I'm Avi, and this is Jan. We're students at GEMS Metropole, a school based in Dubai. We're both passionate and highly intrigued about space exploration and how we could go further as a species.
We've been working on this project for over 100 hours, and it took us a month and a half just to learn the software before we started the project.
Our thought process for the project involved researching concepts that others had put forward, thinking about how we could modernize the ideas with the current technology that we have, and then adding new concepts onto our model. Alongside this, we came up with some of our own ideas and looked at the viability, effectiveness of them to see if the ideas we came up with were actually beneficial.
We chose to create a project based on this idea because we believe that the Earth cannot support our species forever. Humanity must spread its presence across the cosmos in order to thrive. This process would have many steps that humanity must work towards together. We believe our project will be a stepping stone into extraterrestrial habitation, from which we can go further.
These are screenshots from the application called Blender that we used while we were working on our project. To do big things in space, we need to use in-space resources. So the moon is great. This was a quote by Jeff Bezos on what we should do while in space. Space travel relies highly on resources that we have here on Earth, but unfortunately our supplies are running low. So we need to branch out into the cosmos and gather materials from there. The moon is important to us because it's the closest object in space that we can use to explore the universe. Everyone wants to go exploring to Mars or other planet, but everyone forgets about the extreme cost factor.
The force of Earth's gravity on shuttles that are leaving the atmosphere means that the shuttles that we launch need to carry a substantial amount of weight compared to cargo. Statistically speaking, anything launched from the Earth is 90% fuel and only 10% cargo, making space travel very expensive from Earth.
This is evident in the recent Artemis mission files, in which the rocket's weight is 2.7 billion kilograms, and the fuel it carries weighs 2.3 billion kilograms. This Artemis mission is aimed to put people on the moon. This is not efficient at all and costs a lot just to launch into orbit. However, the moon's a different story altogether.
In contrast to the Earth, when we launch spacecraft from the moon, the spacecraft consists of 50% fuel and 50% cargo. This is because the moon's reduced gravity means less fuel is needed to launch spacecraft. This is drastically different and more efficient compared to Earth.
To fix our Thank you. To fix our problems with cost, we believe that a space station on the lunar surface could be established. And for that, we have created a design for what could be on the surface. The station would act as a checkpoint between Earth and other planets, with a colony stationed at it for operations.
This station could also be used as a base and storage space for asteroid mining efforts. We've studied prototype designs from previous eras to ensure our habitats would be able to withstand the hazardous environments of space and keep inhabitants safe.
The station will also have designated areas for hydroponics and farming. This, accompanied by water production systems that will be present, ensures that the space station will be self-sufficient, meaning we won't have to constantly send supplies to the moon.
The station on the moon would be extremely effective. as the reduced gravity on the moon allows us to send more mass for cheaper, making space exploration much more cost-effective in the long term.
This removes one of the greatest barriers for space travel and is vital for exploring the cosmos and to ensure that humanity becomes an interstellar species. Humanity must explore as it is in our nature to discover. Space is the final frontier, the end goal. We are destined to go beyond. Thank you. This is Project Luna. There's a QR code on the screen if the viewers would like to scan it. There's a clip on YouTube of the actual design that we have made. Thank you. Hello?
I think you're still muted.
I am muted. I'm sorry. I was scanning the QR code because I thought that's the first time I've seen that. Very clever.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
A lot of research went into this.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
I'll be honest. I understand that the moon is smaller than the Earth, but it never occurred to me that you would have to use so much less fuel to leave the gravitational well of the moon. What a base. I mean, you could ship 50% more, actually 47% more cargo from the moon than you can from Earth.
Definitely.
I hadn't thought about that.
Everyone wants to launch from the Earth directly to Mars, but no one thinks that we can use an actual checkpoint from the moon to Mars.
Life easier.
Yeah.
So I have two questions, and then I'm going to go to YouTube because I'm sure there are questions on YouTube. But my two questions are, the choices you made in the buildings, the outbuildings that were 90-degree angles with the angled roof, the moon has very little atmosphere and gravity. Yes, those.
Yes.
Aren't you worried that those will decay? For example, on Earth, if you have a plate with square edges, the square edges chip really easy. That's why most plates are round. Why did you choose 90-degree angles for those buildings?
So these are still our initial renders. We're looking to develop this project into a full-scale complete design. We were also considering 3D printing this. So this was in our early research stages where we were considering how the warehouses should be set up. If you would look at the plans, the warehouses are in front or close by to where the launch pads are. So we haven't really we haven't really dived into all the specifics about the warehouse because we're still unsure on where and how the most efficient place could be. So we still have to work on that.
That is a good answer. I like it. My second question is, are you following the research that's coming out now on how much more water is actually on the moon and how they want? You guys talk about that?
So we know that there's a lot of water on the moon, and where scientists are still developing ways of actually producing water from elements. But that's way far off, and we need a quick source. So there is another project coming up, hopefully, where we were considering partnering with them because they have a solution where they can pull water from the underground area and use it for drinking and water on the space station.
All right.
Avi and Sean, this is Jake Mendelson. Let me just butt in for a second if I can, because I've been fascinated by this.
Thank you.
I have a question though. Nothing is perfect. Nothing solves all your problems. So can you tell us what some of the negatives are about doing what you proposed?
So for this project is a long-term project. It would cost about 10 to 15 years to set this up completely, and it can't be the project of one agency. It has to be a collaboration between NASA, between the European Space Agency, between all around the world, because a project at this scale has technically never been done before. So this is a long-term project. Being able to collaborate with each and every agency, that would be one of the biggest problems that we would have to tackle. I would say another problem would be setting up the location on the moon, because most of the moon doesn't have a very thick atmosphere. So the issues that would come is that there would be a lot of radiation that the astronauts will be that will be affected by. Yeah, they will be very exposed. So we were actually looking into this, and we have found a couple craters on the north side of the moon. So the astronauts and the space station would be hidden inside the crater, which will protect them from radiation, from any asteroids, and it could also be used as a as a wall against the sunlight, because over there they don't have that big of an atmosphere. So the UV rays there is powerful. So
conveniently, that's also where all the water is.
exactly.
In the dark.
Yeah,
exactly.
it's closer to the ground.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, a lot of the designs I've seen, I love the logistics that you put together here. The warehouse close to the launch field, the habitat integrated all together with the biosystem. That's unique. A lot of the designs I've seen so far are actually using moon regolith, which is the dust of the moon, the rock that's been eroded down by that.
Yeah.
Is that part of your plan as well? Or are you going to be shipping materials to the moon to build?
Well,
yeah, so we were yeah, John, you can
our main idea for this project is for the habitat to be completely self-sufficient. Obviously, for the initial phases, we cannot immediately be self-sufficient in the habitat, as the first couple of years that it's operational. Obviously, it's going to need supplies. However, in the long term, we want to make this habitat self-sufficient with hydroponics, with collecting water from beneath the moon. And for the moon dust that you mentioned, the moon dust consists mainly of silicon dioxide, which can be converted into elemental silicon, which is very, very useful for many electronics, such as printed circuit boards or semiconductors, such stuff like that. So moon dust is a very, useful resource that we could utilize.
And what would you do with the off-gassed oxygen, I wonder?
I wonder what...
I have to say, do you know what a Venn diagram is?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. You are a Venn diagram of all my passions. Space, science fiction, I mean, you're boom, right in the middle. So I apologize, I'm a huge fanboy. And when I saw you were presenting, I already had 15 questions for you. But I had to tell your story. And I love the attention to detail you've put to this so far. And I'm very excited to see where you guys go with this. Because I believe if anybody can convince the world that this needs to happen, it's going to be the two of you. Get all the people to work together.
Definitely. All right. Well, thank you so much for having us. You're muted.
If you'd like to follow the project, we have a YouTube channel that was on the QR code as well.
Yes, just search up Project Luna. It probably won't show up because we're not that famous yet, but it's on YouTube. Trust me.
I'll make sure that's in the comments on the YouTube.
Definitely.
Because I did scan the QR code. Sorry about forgetting to turn my mute off. I want to hear everything you say, and I don't want to talk over you.
Please unshare your screen so we can get.
Yes.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.